greetings, buddy, and happy spook season. I do have a couple of new decorations, one over here in this corner and then up here, and you can't see all of it. There's my vampire there and my little witch, but I can't go all out because I'm going to need these decorations later for a party that we're having for my daughter, so yeah, I don't want to go out and buy a whole bunch of new decorations and stuff. But that's all besides the point, because this video is for my September wrap-up, and then I'm going to throw in books I chose for October off my great list. So I guess let's just get started with this. The first book that I read here is There's No Place Like Here by Cecilia Ahern. That cover is just beautiful. It's all sparkly and all that stuff you would expect from Wizard of Oz. There were a few things dropped in here, a few different tones that, you know, kind of related to Wizard of Oz, but that is not what the story was about. It's about a girl who finds missing persons, and she ends up being a missing person herself, and she ends up in a place called Here. I felt like it was a little rushed at the end, and it didn't give me everything that I really wanted. I didn't think that it was as exciting as I expected it to be. I mean, you know, she was missing. I figured it was going to be this whole big shindig on that, and it really wasn't all that much. I think I rated it 3 stars because I did like the characters, but it just lacked the excitement that I was looking for in Cecilia Ahern's writing, because I really do like her writing style, but this one just wasn't tweaked enough for me. So yes, there's that one. The next book that I read in a buddy read with my niece was The Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. I absolutely loved this book. I really, really enjoyed it. There was quite a bit of hype when this book was first popular, which is the reason why I didn't pick it up then. But I absolutely loved the story. And I loved the characters. And it was exciting. And it flowed well. And I just really liked Gemma Doyle. I thought she was a great character, which is what this trilogy is called, is a Gemma Doyle trilogy. So I think this one I rated 4 stars, maybe 5 stars. I don't remember right now. So yes, I really enjoyed that one. The next one I read was Between by Jessica Warman. Again, I expected so much more out of this story than what I got. She's on a party boat with a bunch of her friends, and she ends up dead. And this is actually her narrating it and trying to figure out what's up and what's going on and what happened and how she ended up where she's at. Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. I mean, I liked the way it flowed, but it just, you know, it didn't give me that excitement that I was expecting in it. So again, 3 stars, maybe 2 stars. I don't remember. You guys can go check my reviews. But yeah, that's called Between by Jessica Warman. Next one I read, buddy read with one of my best friends, Susan, and this was The Good Daughter. This is by Karen Slaughter. She is one of my favorite writers, and this book was fantastic. I loved everything that I've read by her, and this one's no different. You got 2 daughters, obviously, who have a father who is a defender, a lawyer, and he's kind of brought people down on his head and his family's head because he didn't defend them properly, or they get out and they go out, that kind of thing, you know. One of his daughters takes after him, and she's also a lawyer. And that's all I'm going to say. So good. Great thrilling aspects to the story. Of course, it's Karen Slaughter, so I can't really say a lot of bad. I believe I rated this 4 stars. If you'd like mystery and thrillers, and you've not read Karen Slaughter, check her out. She's fantastic. Next one here is I Am the Messenger by Marcus Zuzak. This was a really good story. I really enjoyed the book Thief, and I really wanted to give this one a shot, where this guy just becomes a messenger, and he does what he has to for each message that he's to deliver. He's got to help people or whatever it may be. I'm not going to say anything else, but it was actually a very good story. I think I rated this 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. I really enjoy Marcus Zuzak's writing. I think he's fantastic. So there's that one, I Am the Messenger. The last book that I read for the month was book 2 to the Gemma Doyle series, Rebel Angels by Libba Bray. Again, this was a buddy read with my niece. This one started out a little bit slower. I had to get like a quarter of the way through the story before it really started picking up and getting exciting. But it did turn out to be a very good story. Again, the characters are well developed. I loved all of them, good and bad. She is a very good writer, and I look forward to reading the third one, which I do have. It's Sweet the Far Thing, and I'm sure I'm probably going to buddy read that one with my niece as well. I'm not sure when we're going to get to it because now it's spook season. I want to focus on spooky books. So yeah, there's that one, Rebel Angels by Libba Bray. I think I gave this 4 or 5 stars. So there's that. You guys can find all my reviews on these books on my vlog or on Goodreads. It's all down there. So check those out. Okay, so now for October and what I've chosen to read off the great list. So far off the great list, I have read 4 books. The Good Daughter, which was by Karen Slaughter. Between by Jessica Warman. I Am the Messenger by Marcus Zuzak. And the last one that I've checked off on here was Kenny by Kalila Coulter. This is book 2 to the Still Waters series. And this one was pretty dramatic too, just like the first one was. Kenny, if you remember, in Still Waters was Natasha's really good friend. This is his story, his life before meeting Natasha. And yeah, there's some pretty dramatic parts in this that, you know, cringeworthy. It was written very well still, and I did enjoy the story, the characters. You learn more about some of the characters in Still Waters, like his Aunt Jasmine, himself particularly. You learn about a little more about his mother and that kind of stuff. So it's very good. I have not done a review on this yet, but I plan to. It's probably going to be rated a 4-star. I didn't enjoy it as much as Still Waters because it was a totally different aspect, since this was his life and not Natasha's life. So this is dealing more with drug lords and drugs and trafficking and all that stuff. So I am going to rate it probably 4 stars because it still was a good read. So that was the first book that I finished in October. It didn't take me very long, a couple days. I wanted to get it, you know, in the end of the month, but it didn't work. So that's my first on my TBR for October, and it's finished, considering it is the 3rd already. This next one is questionable because it's not on my great list, but my niece wanted to read this one together, and it is The City of Bones. I read this book before, but in order for me to finish the rest of the series, I'm going to have to reread this because it's been a couple years before I picked this up. She's read the whole series, and she just thinks it would be cool if we read the series together. I don't know how I'm going to fit it in for this month, but I do have it sitting here in case she decides she wants to read it, and hopefully I can get through these other books really fast. So yeah, there it is, City Bones by Cassandra Clare. This is scheduled for us to read this month. I just don't know the time frame for it because we have to read Sweet Far Thing too by Libba Bray to finish that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay, the next ones. Let's get the spooky ones first. I am going to start reading Ashley Bell by Dean Koontz. I've had this book for years. I got it from our used bookstore, and it's time to read it. I really want to read this one. It's the season for it. I don't know if it's going to be scary, or it does sound interesting, though. So that's going to be the first one that I read. Well, besides Kenny, which I've already done. Coming in the middle of the month, I am reading Sleeping Beauties by Stephen King and Owen King as a buddy read with my friend Janelle. I've been wanting to read this book for quite some time. It is a big book, but I'm hoping that it has a lot of flair and excitement and all that stuff that I can get through it quickly. So there is that one. The final scary book that I'm going to read for this month is going to be The Outsider by Stephen King. Been dying to read this one as well. You guys know Stephen King is my favorite author. I have heard great things about this one. I'm not sure if this is going to be a buddy read with Janelle or not. She was able to get Sleeping Beauty, so that's why we're going to read this one. She's having a hard time getting this one. It is a new book, so it's going to be really expensive. My sister picked this one up for me before they came to visit this summer, and yes, I'm really looking forward to reading it. The next one I chose for this month is Enclave by Anna Guire. It's a small book. I figure I can get through it pretty quickly, so I'm probably going to read this one after Ashley Bell, I would think. I've had this book forever, so it is time to read it. Get it off the great list. Yes, there you go. And the final one I chose off the great list is Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray. This too sounds like it's going to be a really good one. It's a young adult. I'm going to say sci-fi-ish with a little bit of romance in there. I've not heard a whole lot about this, but I am going to try and enjoy it. This one actually ended up being like a 4.03 rating on Goodreads. So a lot of people like it. I try not to use that as a judgment of books, but it gives me hope that's a 4.03. So there we go. There are the books that I'm going to read. Only one of those books was not on the great list, and that is The City of Bones. If we get to that one. If I can finish these off and still have time, then I will pick up another book from the great list. This will knock off, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more books off the great list. So I really want to get through this list. Still working on Roots. I haven't picked it up anymore. But oh, it's just a difficult one to get into is all. But anyway, as I said before, if you've read any of these books, let me know in the comments below. Also, all my reviews be down below on my blogs and on Goodreads, so you can check out what my reviews were for each one of these and the stars that I've given them. But that is it, guys. Thanks for staying tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.